Olivia Juliana is a pretty big influencer who, no pun intended, claims that she lost 50 pounds because she can't afford to eat under Donald Trump's economy. Just for the record, today is Donald Trump's 17th day in office, so if Olivia is to be believed, she's lost 20 pounds per week because she can't afford her groceries. Well, if the name Olivia Juliana sounds familiar to you, it's because she's no stranger to the public eye. Aside from being an influencer, she is a Democrat strategist, and she actually spoke at last year's DNC. But that is not all. Matt Gaetz even brought her up and made a few jokes at her expense, and because of that, The View came to her defense and they featured her on their program.
Today, we're highlighting an online influencer and activist who's helping her generation take the reins of America's political future. Take a look. At just 17 years old, Olivia Juliana became a political powerhouse during the 2020 presidential election, joining forces with Gen Z for Change, a young activist group using social media to raise awareness about vital issues, like the fight for a woman's right to make choices about her own body. Her outspoken approach also led to hateful attacks. Congressman Matt Gaetz claimed that overweight and unattractive women don't need to worry about getting pregnant. So, after decrying his misogyny and fat phobia, Olivia rallied her legions of followers to raise more than $2 million for women's reproductive rights funds in states that need it most. After Bloomberg named her one of the 50 most influential people and she garnered more than 1 billion views on social media and counting, Olivia took the mic at this summer's Democratic National Convention.
Okay, before I continue, I just want to be very clear. I'm not trying to make fun of Olivia. I'm not trying to body shame Olivia. In fact, I've said many times before on the channel that I have struggled with weight my whole life. It is an ongoing struggle. It was really bad when I was a kid, really bad when I was in college. And guess what I just pulled out of my kitchen cabinet? Yeah, a can of Slim Fast. No, this is not a prop. No, this is not a product placement. I truly am always trying to get in better shape, trying to be more athletic. I've talked about being a marathon runner and a swimmer. Like, counting calories is just something that I do. So I get that weight loss and body image, body size, body shape. It is really personal for everyone. However, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because Olivia, in making this claim, accidentally exposed herself as a liar, and it also shows how desperate the Democrats are to land any attack they can on President Trump. So, this is what Olivia posted online. I'm actually down 50 pounds because I can't afford to eat in Trump's economy. And she posted that in response to another account that claimed that she's threatening to go on a hunger strike until USAID is restored. Now, honestly, if she had a sense of humor, she would be trying to sell this as the Trump weight loss program. But I guess outrage gets more clicks than comedy these days. Missed marketing opportunity, if you ask me. But what this makes me think about is all the time when the Democrats claimed there was no inflation, all the time when they said it was transitory, all the time they just tried to downplay the economy. And now Trump hasn't even been in office for 17 days, and they're blaming these sky-high prices on him. Also, I just went online to try to find statistics about whether or not prices have gone up in Trump's economy. I know that egg prices have gone up, but eggs obviously out of his control because of the aviation flu, which was going on since last year. But 17 days, there's not a lot of data. And if there was, it would be inconclusive because that's hardly any time. And in fact, if prices did go up, it's probably residual damage from what Joe Biden has done. So there's nothing you can glean from 17 days. But the funny part is that the very same people who claimed that inflation wasn't real under Joe Biden suddenly became overnight economists the moment Donald Trump was inaugurated. It's like magic. Joe Biden's inflation disappeared and Donald Trump's supposed inflation just popped out of nowhere. You can't make it up. Well, the story gets even crazier. The exact same day she blamed Donald Trump for her weight loss, she actually bragged that she's lost 50 pounds since September 1st, presumably September 1, 2024, last year. Here is a photo of me next to an absurdly tall mountain of cheese puffs, which, yes, I realize is extremely ironic in this context, but when you see a 10-foot tall mountain of cheese puffs, how do you not take a picture? You know, I don't claim to be the smartest person in the world. I don't claim to be a genius. I don't even claim to be that intelligent. However, I am smart enough to know that Joe Biden was president on September 1, 2024, which is when Olivia presumably began her diet. And I've done the math for you. That was 158 days ago. If Donald Trump has been in office for 17 days, that means that over the course of Olivia's diet, Joe Biden was president for 141 of those days. So which is it, Olivia? Are you going to stand by your humble brag that you've lost 50 pounds because of your hard work, because of your dieting, because of intentionality and hopefully working out? Or are you going to blame Donald Trump? You can't have it both ways here. And I think that post right there is the perfect encapsulation of what the Democrats are just trying to do. Everything bad that happens, Donald Trump's fault. Everything good that happens, Donald Trump's fault. Most people would celebrate losing 50 pounds unless they were anorexic, and I don't mean for that to be like insensitive or funny. Like I get that anorexia is a real thing. But most people, I would be thrilled if I lost weight. I wouldn't be blaming someone else for it, especially if I went on social media that exact same day to brag about it. I'd stand by that brag. I'd want the attention on me. Hey, praise me for the hard work. Yet here she is using her platform. Yeah, she's lost weight. She looks better. She's presumably feeling better because that's what happens when you lose weight. And she's still bitter. She's still blaming Trump. Peak loser liberal energy right there. But don't you worry, Olivia, the Democrats are going to one-up you as far as losing energy is concerned, according to Axios. Scoop. Senate Democrats plot USAID revenge on Trump. Senate Democrats are privately eyeing delays on all Trump nominees as retaliation for his restructuring of USAID, Axios has learned. And coincidentally, this article was released right as we learned this morning that Kash Patel's confirmation vote was pushed back to next week. They are using every mechanism they can to delay Trump's nominees, which, of course, is really ironic because for all the hand-wringing that Trump is doing something new, trying something new, that Trump is disrupting the system, they're actually disrupting the system more. And by the way, Trump appointing nominees to his cabinet, appointing his cabinet members, people to serve on his administration, totally constitutional, totally within his responsibilities. He's supposed to do it. They're the ones causing chaos right now. We, the people, voted for the Trump agenda. We, the people, voted for this mandate. What Trump is doing right now, as far as exposing waste, exposing corruption, everything, that was democracy in action. Yes, I get that we're a constitutional republic, but you get what I'm saying. The people voted for that. It's not as if Trump is doing something totally out of left field that is catching everyone by surprise. Meanwhile, when Trump is actually trying to do his constitutional duties of trying to fill out his cabinet to run the country, Democrats are now slow walking it. It's not as if Kash Patel isn't going to get confirmed. He has the votes. All of Trump's other nominees appear to have the votes, but Democrats are just dragging their legs, using whatever procedures they can as revenge. Like I said yesterday, the Democrat and media reaction to what's being exposed with USAID tells you that Elon Musk, Doge, and Donald Trump are right over the target. It's supposedly foreign aid. Why do they care? It's American taxpayer money that's being sent overseas. Those aren't their constituents. Their constituents are here at home. Why the panic? Why the outrage? Something is going on, something needs to be exposed, and that's what's happening. Now, if you think Senate Democrats slow-walking Trump's nominees is bad, wait until you hear what House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is up to. According to the New York Times, Jeffries works with New York Democrats to weaken GOP control of the House. New York lawmakers may give Governor Kathy Hochul more time to schedule special elections, a move backed by the House Democratic leader that could keep a key seat vacant for months. So the Republicans barely enjoy a majority in the House. Every single seat matters. Well, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik from New York is a congresswoman no longer. Why? Because she's been tapped to serve in Donald Trump's administration. So her seat is now open. In other words, the Republicans have lost a seat. According to New York state law, that district in New York has 90 days to schedule a special election. And the district that Elise Stefanik comes from has historically been a conservative-leaning or a Republican district. So if you had to bet money on who would replace her, who would win that special election, it's likely going to be another Republican. But what Democrats want to do is they want to change that law. They want to prolong the special election so that Republicans lose effectively lose a seat in the House. Again, from the same New York Times article, when Albany Democrats began discussing a rewrite of New York's special election law in recent days, seemingly out of the blue, they framed it publicly as a matter of good governance. But behind the scenes, their motivation was far more political and was driven by Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York, the top House Democrat, who saw an opportunity to manipulate the law to slow Republicans' agenda in Washington. Oh, the irony here. The Democrats for years, ever since 2015, ever since the Golden Escalator, have been screaming that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Yet he's never done anything to manipulate the will of the people, never done anything to manipulate or try to suppress votes. Yet right here, we are seeing in real time the Democrats in New York trying to strip 750,000. That's how many people, that's how many constituents are in Elise Stefanik's district. They're trying to strip 750,000 people of their voices in Congress, effectively for an entire year. Because if they're able to push this off till November 2025, goodbye. Your voices don't count in Congress. They are doing it's sick. It's disgusting. Like, they really haven't learned anything. And I hope if you live in New York, please call your representatives and make sure that this law does not pass, that this loophole, that this manipulation, it just gets thrown in the trash, because it should not be happening. Like I said, this should be happening late March, early April, mid-April. But Democrat majorities in the state legislature could soon grant the governor the ability to wait far longer to schedule the contest, potentially lining it up with the state's regular June 24 primary date, or even the general election in November. I wish I was making this up, but with manipulative politics like this, it's no wonder that Trump is enjoying the highest approval ratings of his entire career. Even on CNN, they were shocked to find out that as far as Trump's executive order goes, banning transgender athletes from women's sports, that order has a 79% approval rating among the entire public. Let's go.
I think these numbers are really illuminating on this topic, because I just think there's such a clear trend among the American public. So transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports. Compare this to the opposition. I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything, but they do, in fact, agree on the idea of opposing transgender female athletes in women's sports. But it's not just the here and now, Laura. It's not just the here and now. What we're actually seeing is a trend on this particular issue, and it's going in the direction of opposition. So take a look here. Okay, transgendered female athletes, and amongst those Americans who oppose them in women's sports, back in 2021, it was 62%. A majority, but, you know, not anywhere close to a ginormous majority, right? A clear majority, but not a ginormous majority. But then again, you look here in 2025, you see it at 79%. So it's not just that the majority of Americans are opposed to transgender female athletes in women's sports. It's that the opposition has become considerably larger in just the last 4 years.
And it's not just Republicans, it's not just independents. When you break down the numbers further, 67% of Democrats agree with Trump on this issue. So I think that's why his approval is through the roof. In addition to fulfilling his campaign promises, in addition to taking quick, decisive, efficient action, Trump is delivering on issues where voters are unified. And that's what Trump has said, that he would be a unifying president. And he's not only fulfilling his campaign promises, which, yes, cater to his base, but he is also finding those areas where Democrats and Republicans agree in overwhelming numbers. Who would have thought? But as always, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So, what do you think about Olivia Juliana? Was I too harsh on her? Do you agree? Was I too gentle? Or you know, better yet, is there an alternative explanation? Because I really don't get how someone could, no offense, Olivia, if this ever gets back to you, I don't get how someone could be that obtuse and quite frankly dumb to in one post say I've lost 50 pounds because I can't eat in Donald Trump's economy, to on the same day bragging that she's lost 50 pounds since September 1st. Like, is there some other explanation for that, or does that just expose even more lies from Democrat influencers? If you have any thoughts on that or any theories, let me know down in the comments below. Yesterday, I asked if anyone also believes or has any thoughts on Operation Mockingbird, and I was surprised. Virtually every single comment that mentioned Operation Mockingbird agreed that either it existed or exists in some form today. And to be honest, I was kind of even scared to mention it on the channel, because whenever you mention any sort of... I just hate the term conspiracy theory, because I think it's used to demean, to minimize, to ridicule people. And I think it takes away your ability to ask real, substantive, tough questions. And not every question or not every conspiracy turns out to be true, right? But I think we should be asking, we should be holding our government to a higher standard, especially the government of the most powerful country in the world. Like, you should hold them to a higher standard, yet the moment you bring up something that's not mainstream or not reported by the mainstream media or doesn't even get talked about a lot by either of the major parties, people want to label you a conspiracy theorist or as someone who wears a tinfoil hat. Like, it's just, I think it's scary to, like, even bring up topics like that. I've been trying to, like, feel more comfortable and confident in my voice and bringing up stories like that. So I do appreciate all the feedback and the comments on that. So I'm also excited to hear your thoughts on Olivia Juliana as well. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.